Monday, December 20th at 7 p.m. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Flock, roll call to establish quorum, please.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel.
Here.
Supervisor Jared Tennille.
Here.
Chairman Dan Wolfel.
Here.
Supervisor Mark Hain.
Here.
Supervisor Linda Waite. Here.
Here. So we have a quorum. I assume our agenda has been posted properly. So
The agenda was properly noticed.
all right, let's go on to the meet and greet. We know many of you, but we'd always like to hear again from you. Carrie, how about you start?
Harry Nellis.
Craig Nellis. Clay Nellis.
All Nellis is in the front row.
Jim Mitchie, 4159 Bayshore Drive.
Arnie Sugar.
Paul Becker, Carla Court, Sevastopol.
Trent Olson from the town of Sevastopol.
Tracy Waltler, Thomas Festival.
Dennis Butler, Sevastopol.
Randy DeVore, Sevastopol.
Bob DeVore, town of Sevastopol. Mike Street.
Brooke Tank, Thomas Festival.
Matt Stevenson, Sevastopol.
Gary Hinkle, Sevastopol.
George Hinkle, Sevastopol.
Mark Schrader, Sevastopol.
Tom Stark, Egg Harbor.
Jim Webb, 5220.
Yes, Jim Espinels is here. All right, let's start off with public participation. Anyone wishing to speak besides the ATV? Yes, Jim?
Oh, good evening. My name is James Mitchie. I live full-time at 4159 Bayshore Drive in Sevastopol. I speak tonight with two different hats on, so I'll put my first one on. The first hat I wear is as president of the Bayshore Property Owners Association. Several BSPOA members are aware of the discussions that would allow ATV operation on Sevastopol roads, and many the board members have expressed concern about this possibility, particularly along the shoreline roads and their vicinity. BSPOA board has not yet been able to meet to discuss this topic and take a position. We will be doing so in the early part of January before the next Board of Supervisors meeting, and possibly have an opinion to express then. So I'll put on my second hat as a Sevastopol resident and a meeting frequent flyer. I would like to strongly express my support for the renewal of Clerk Treasurer Amy Flock's contract. Working with Amy the past year on many topics has been a pleasure. She is smart, diligent, effective and efficient, and easy to work with. But this is something I suspect that the board already knows. By my rough calculation, 0.02% of the property taxes I paid today supports Ms. Flock's salary, and I think that part of my tax payment is a bargain. I want to thank you all and wish you all a long list of best wishes for the holiday season and New Year. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jim. Since you brought that topic up, and it is on the agenda tonight, I will read you a text that I sent our clerk treasurer this afternoon, independent of your thoughts, where I said, thanks, Amy. You know, I think I will keep you around. You are doing a very good job. So I absolutely concur. She's done a great job for us. I think I've recognized her before. I have no hesitation in doing it again. So thank you for bringing it up. Very kind. Anyone else wishing to speak? All right, let's move on. The agenda we know is properly noticed. We need a motion to adopt.
So move to adopt the agenda as noticed.
Motion by Linda, second by?
I'll second that.
Second by our mystery supervisor, Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? All right. Agenda is good to go. Approval of minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting from November 29, and the public hearing for ATV UTVs from December 7th.
I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes November 29th, as well as the public hearing on December 7th.
All right, motion by Derek, second by?
Second.
Second by Mark to approve the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting and the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you. Pending business. Drifting back to that topic with your Christmas or Santa hat on. We did have a Christmas party here just a little while back. And I would like to further acknowledge the fact that in addition to Amy, who did a great job organizing it for us in what, the third year? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Also, Miss Waite on my left, who planned, organized, and did the decorations, and in Linda's case, the tree as well.
Pencil tree.
Pardon me?
Pencil tree.
The pencil tree, which I think is to be admired by many. The two of them have done a great job with this. We had approximately 100 people show up for the event. I would encourage you all to put it on your calendar next year. It was a good time. Santa showed up. I think some of you might, pardon me? Oh, yes, ho, ho, ho. Also, thanks to Laddie, who was our musical accompaniment on an untuned piano, but still sounded good. Thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And I would like to just tell you that there were a number of our businesses in the community that donated door prizes for the Christmas party. And those businesses were Culver's, The Farm, Bayside Auto, YMCA, the Velmy Happy Hour, Jenny Brandenburg, who represents a company called Lala Rue, Institute Saloon, Door County Coffee, Grandma Tommy's, and Amber Jeancourt, who is a hairstylist at the Cut Hut, sorry, tough time reading. At any rate, just acknowledge those people. They were very kind to support our event. And I also have two small gift certificates, one for Linda and one for Amy, and thanking them for all of their efforts. They put a lot of time, personal time, in to make that event a success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're welcome, well deserved. All right. So with that, we're going to move on to a discussion regarding the ATVs. As the board knows, and everyone in the audience, this has been a topic of discussion starting back last summer with the Park Committee, and has eventually worked its way up to a public hearing on December 7th. There's been a number of pieces of paper with, obviously, information with respect to this request that's been distributed and shared by both the supporters of the project as well as things that we've gotten from other individuals throughout the community. In addition to this, I enclosed in tonight's packet a letter that I wrote to the chairpersons of the adjoining towns who had access to, had ATV access currently in their towns, to question them about issues or concerns or opportunities. We have some feedback, not from all, but from some of those people. In summary from the hearing, there were 31 people in attendance, and roughly there were a split between those in support and those not in support of our opening the town roads. In addition, we received a number of emails and also telephone calls.
The split, I believe the split was more 3/4-4 rather than the 50-50.
And in terms of speakers, that's all.
Oh, okay.
In terms of bodies, you're correct, but in terms of people that spoke, just
Gotcha.
from there. One of the other things, there were a couple things I just wanted to make sure that were clarified as we discussed this, that came up in some of the meetings. One of them was in response to Ms. Gillett's original request back in June. We went and pursued a little bit more information with the County of Door, and this is the note dated June 17th. County of Door ATV process, and it says, I made a note there, it says, if you want to travel on a portion of the county road, you'll need to apply for the county for a route designation. We've had all of that conversation. The one thing that I noticed in rereading the information is that you will need to apply for that, and you will also need the meeting minutes the vote of a town meeting where the people along the proposed county roads were notified and approve of the route proposed on the county system. So this refers specifically to those sections where they were going, for example, from Nelson Lane to the hitching post via Whitefish Bay Road. I hadn't picked that up earlier, but that was in the materials I had gotten from the county. Also, I wanted to clarify a comment that was made at the hearing with respect to operation of a ATV with a snowplow blade or snow removal blade. The gentleman who spoke said that you could go anywhere within a 3-mile circumference. And the way that it reads from the Wisconsin DNR regs is a person may operate an ATV with a snow removal device attached for snow removal purposes and under the following restrictions: at a speed not to exceed 5 miles an hour on a sidewalk or 15 on an adjacent roadway. Operation is allowed between April 1st and April 30th, and the operators may not travel a distance greater than 2 miles from their original starting or loading point. Machines must also display 1 or more illuminated yellow lights that are flashing or rotating and visible for 360 degrees. And I mention that only in the event that some of you got that information and have a different impression, that you understand, you can obviously do that, but there are specific limitations to that. I also requested from the Wisconsin DNR the number of registered ATVs in our town. They don't break it out by our town. They only break it out by county. And in the case of Door County, there's 3,271 as of 2021 in the county. I suspect a fairly large portion of those would be in ours, since we're the largest population outside of the city of Sturgeon Bay. And although it's only Kentucky windage, I don't think there's a huge percentage of people in the city of Sturgeon Bay that have ATVs versus the more rural areas. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Also, the DNR was going to send an accident report year-to-date, but it did not come in. However, I did go through the accident report that Ms. Gillett provided, which was a fatal accident report as of August 23rd. 28 incidents, and these were fatal accidents, not any accidents. All but 5 were on public roads. I also went through and broke them out by age brackets. There were 2 accidents with people under age 30, 5 in the 30 to 40 category, 5 in the 40 to 50 category, 7 in the 50 to 60. And I don't think I should be on the road with mine because there were 10 for the 60 plus. But anyway, just as an FYI. And you've already seen the accident reports, so you understand what that is. Also in your packet is a copy of the state of Wisconsin fines for operating a ATV on public property. Variety of different, I won't go through them all, but roughly right, the $200 and some odd $fine for driving in an area that you're not supposed to be on. Anywhere from riding on the edge of the beach in the water, on a public road, etc. So you have a copy of that. Additionally, the original request from Ms. Gillett, which talked about roads that they would consider as proposed county road openings. I have the original list in there, and I submitted that list to the county and asked them for their comments, because the responsibility for opening the road lies with the road commissioner and their committee. And I did receive a reply back from Thad Ash, which you have in your packet, saying that some of these roads would be potential candidates. Some would not be, and you can read through them for yourself. And in some cases, he suggested alternatives where it would take an alternate route, maybe a indirect route, but a route that you could use versus a direct route, for example, Whitefish Bay from Valmy to the hitching post. So I've included that in your packet. And so that, and then finally the maps themselves. the most recent set that we have. So, that's everything that's in there. And I look for your comments on where we want to go with this. So, whoever would like to start, feel free.
Go ahead, Linda.
Thanks. First, I just want to say to those of you that requested the board to look at traveling our town roads with ATVs, you presented that in a respectful and organized manner. Your passion for the sport is obvious. You gathered the information, you submitted the maps, and I'm sure all of you would operate in a safe and responsible manner. And again, you view this as an opportunity to get together with family and friends and neighbors, ride and enjoy the outdoors, and certainly no intentions to spend the entire afternoon or evening at one of our local establishments. Personally, I do not view ATVs as any noisier than motorcycles or a vehicle with a modified exhaust system, and they've certainly earned their keep when it comes to the farm and orchard businesses. And believe it or not, in my younger days, 100 years ago or so, I rode ATVs, side-by-sides, the snowmobiles. We, had all the toys, and I have some really great memories of spending time with my family when we were younger and friends, and we really had a good time. However, and this is the big however, I don't believe they belong on roads. They're meant for off-road purposes. And I have like 3 reasons. And number one, that the ATVs, the UTVs, like I said, they're manufactured and intended for unpaved surfaces. And it's my understanding that's why they have the low-pressure tires, so they have better traction, again, designed for off-road. And my number 2 reason, not in any specific order, was the traffic. Door County has changed a lot over the last 15, 20 years or so, with the ever-increasing number of the short-term rentals of our, homes and cabins and cottages of all that. This brings traffic to town roads that we didn't have before. Even on my own street, it used to be just local traffic, my neighbors and that going up and down the street. It's not just local traffic anymore, it's visitors. And of course, whether it's cars or ATVs or whatever, the more vehicles, the more likelihood that there's going to be a mishap. So that was one of my reasons. And then my 3rd reason is that there are other options for really scenic and safe riding your ATVs and UTVs. Kewaunee County has off-road trails. There's lots of counties in northern Wisconsin that have hundreds of miles of trails. And I think the DNR, I saw something about legislation where they recently updated their ATV rules to make trails more uniform. And they recognize that it is people, your supporters here, the publics, the private citizens, and the clubs that work to maintain those trails and enhance them and expand them for everyone to enjoy, whether it's a day trip or a weekend getaway. And I know that traveling to another county or another area, yep, you're gonna have to load up your machines and trailer them about, but unfortunately, I don't ever see an off-road trail system coming to Door County. And I don't think they are meant to, like I said, to go on paved roads. And it's already, as somebody mentioned, it's already looking bleak for snowmobiles, for them to have their trails. So I'm sorry, like I said, I see your passion, but as things stand right now, I just don't see this request as a good fit for Sevastopol.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Derek or Jeannie, Mark, whomever.
Well, I think I'm the only one on the board that's 100% in agreement with it. I really want it. I don't think anything I say here tonight's gonna change the other votes. I have lots of questions and comments, but I think I'm just blowing hot air and not gonna get any results from it.
That's it?
That's all I have to say for now.
Okay. Derek?
I think we have too much traffic on our roads already. Within April to September, October, there's been a total of 6 car accidents on our state highways, which has closed the highway completely and put that traffic onto our town roads. Those town roads included Walker, Forest, Matthew, Old Highway Road, just to name a few. And those take the full brunt of the highway traffic at one time. So that's a lot of traffic to put onto our town roads and have ATVs as well. And also, we've all experienced the Sunday afternoon traffic where the highway's backed up and we're taking our back roads ourselves. So I don't believe that has any reason to have ATVs on our roads.
Added to that, all right. Jeannie?
Yes, Linda spoke really to a lot of points that I would agree with.
Can you speak up a little, please?
It's hard to tell because I'm getting an echo, so sorry.
That's good.
So I agree with the points that Linda made and Derek made. I also understand the passion that you have for the sport that you enjoy, but I do not think that ATVs are meant for roadways. I also have a concern about the safety, about the traffic issues, and I also am concerned about people that do not live in Sevastopol, mostly visitors, bringing ATVs and using them on our roadways without really knowing our roadways. So I'm sorry, but I cannot approve of the use of our roads.
Okay, anything, is that it, Jeannie?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'd like to say that I have a different opinion than the rest of them, but I do not. I've spent a significant amount of time trying to research this and understand that I am an ATV owner today. And I do load my ATV up and I do take it to Crivets and Mountain and Dunbar and all those other trails, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I would, in some ways, not mind riding the roads if it was something that I thought was the right course of action to take. I went out and talked to almost all of the other town chairmen who had already granted access to their roads. And I would say that for the most part, they've had few problems. I would be the first to concede that in conversations with them. However, I'd also tell you that their comments to me were that in certain circumstances, they looked the other way when there were problems. They have golf carts on roads now that there are ATVs allowed. They have golf carts in places. They have people crossing roads that are not allowed. They just tend to kind of leave it go. I'm not in the position that I want to leave it go. I get the phone calls. I get the phone calls on a lot of things. And to me, I'm not interested in answering phone calls and trying to justify why the town roads are open. So I went back and I talked to numerous people with respect to enforcement. And at the hearing, I think I made the announcement, and after talking to Pat McCarty, the chief deputy, that they would enforce it. But later on, I found out that based on the lieutenant, that's not the case. So the comment was made, and this topic was also pursued by Steve Sullivan in Nassauwappee, was that if they started enforcing ATV rules, that for one town, they'd have to do it for everybody, and they don't want to do it. They'll do it, but they don't want to do it. Well, I'm not about to open up our roads when there's no enforcement that that anyone is eager to address. And I'm not interested in being the responsible policeman for violations. And frankly, the issue is that there are so many people on our town roads that use them as walking routes or bike routes, that there's traffic out there, and these people feel that, you know, they're being crowded out. They're biking, they want silent sports. We have lots of tourists in our town, one of the largest number of tourist rooming houses as well as facilities. Frankly, it isn't a good fit. I understand why Southern Door did it. I talked to Steve Sullivan in Nassauwappee, and Steve said they actually opened up ATVs on their roads to eliminate a seasonal ice fishing problem. Because they had so much traffic going on to the bay, the trailers with the ATVs that came into the area, not only citizens, but the vast amount of people who came to fish for whitefish on the bay were plugging up the roads to the extent that emergency vehicles couldn't get through. So he found that opening ATVs in his community, and he felt that their roads are highly used seasonally, was a way to combat the problem of overcrowded roads, trailer parking, etc. I understand that. I happen to be a fisherman. I happen to trailer my ATV over there and then go out onto the ice. So I can relate to that. I can't ride from here to there. But the bottom line is I cannot support it. I understand the comments from the board. I do appreciate the fact that you've shown dedication and effort and as a group came in and tried to make this happen. But at this time, I cannot support it. And I know that Mark is a different opinion. I appreciate his opinion. But
Can they do any rebuttal? Because I thought we were going to do rebuttal at the public hearing.
no, we had said initially there would be none.
Not even from their representatives.
Well, you could.
I mean, now it doesn't pay because it's, 4-1. It's a
Right.
very clear vote, but
Right.
even the night of we were gonna, at the night of the hearing, we talked earlier about them being able to answer some questions, at least speak.
The hearing was to gather information and to solicit input from both the group that came as well as the citizens, which is what we've done. The people have spoken up and they have said it's not a good fit. And in many cases, I think the majority of us agree with that decision. And basically, that's where I stand on it. I mean, we'll be happy to take and make a motion to make it formal, but just to let you know my thinking, I think you've heard some of the other board members and their concerns. I don't think it's appropriate for our town at this time.
And this isn't something we want to try for one year trial period to see
No.
how horrible it really is.
No, because I think we still have the issues that we've talked about, and frankly, I don't think they're gonna go away. There's not a vehicle to address them, and once you enable something, pulling it back is even more difficult. So, I mean, I've thought about that. I've covered this ground in my head more than you would anticipate, trying to figure out where I could stand on this to maybe be neutral. But even if I was, it's not going to change the three people on the board that feel completely differently. So, with that, I don't know that we even need to take a motion on it because we're not really voting on anything other than, at this point in time, we will not vote on this issue. So it may come back at some future date, but for now, it's not going to go anywhere. So thank you for your interest in showing up and speaking your piece, and maybe sometime in the future, we'll see what happens. So, okay?
And I would like to say, everybody that sends emails, please show up at these meetings. These people showed up. You guys send emails, you never show your face. Please show up if you're in opposition or for it.
Well, I'll make one other comment, Mark, because I agree with you. I would love to have more people show up. But what really also threw me for a loop was the fact that we had two people from Nassauwappee that drove up here to tell us not to open the roads, which really kind of surprised me. I mean, I did not think that someone from another community would care what we did or didn't do. So that.
I mean, we have.
Five from Nassauwappee all year long coming up here.
Pardon me?
To
We had 5 from Nassau coming up all year long, telling you 2 of them. I mean, it's, Roger Cherney was
Right.
was here for every meeting.
Yeah.
I guess I'm really surprised it was, you know, we've been at it for 7 months. In that 7 months, not one person who lives on a road that would be opened came here to speak against it. The only people who spoke against it live on, there were 3 people that live on the shoreline, and those roads would not be affected. And then we had 4 people from out of town. And we'd be fine to say the Sevastopol town roads do not include Duluth Avenue or the town of Nassau. I guess it's very surprising that so many people came here to say yes, and we have 4 votes on the board that really aren't being, I guess, reasonable about it. You know, when we look at the safety issues and we say, you know, for 5 years in Southern Board, not one accident on one of the roads, but we still go back to safety and safety. Well, we're just not seeing the issues. We turned in the call logs to the Door County Sheriff's Department that noted any ATV, UTV incident. We see minimal. It's very surprising.
You're a special, you know, don't take this wrong, you're a special interest group, and I would expect as a special interest group, whatever your particular goal would be, is that you would rally the troops that would be expected, and I encourage and I'm glad to see that you were able to do that. But from a perspective of having 2,200 other voting citizens, they may or may not choose to come and speak. They may have microphone issues, you know, they don't want to be for whatever reason, but they do communicate back, just like on other issues, so you do get feedback from them. It would be great if they all came, but that doesn't happen. So, but if we had a special interest group that was on any other topic, you would hope that those people would come and promote their ideas, issues, or whatever concerns. They certainly did that with the quarry project. They did come and speak up on that topic. So I don't know if any of you were here for that process, other than Jim. Was anyone else here for the quarry project? I know. So, anyway, I'm sorry, at this point in time, it's not going to be a topic that we're going to progress with any further. So,
I wonder if, I do wonder, like, 100 years ago, did anyone say roads are for horses, shouldn't be cars on them? I wonder if there was a group there trying to stop progress like there is here. Maybe? Guess we can check the town records.
well, all right.
Can we speak at all or not?
Go ahead.
So what I'm listening here is, it sounds like traffic is what's your main reason, is that correct?
No?
Safety and too much traffic?
Well, I think traffic plays in it. I don't know that safety's the overwhelming one.
Yeah, because everything you all talked about can all be countered, can all be argued, because safety is a big thing for walkers, for bicyclists, for other drivers. So it affects everything in the county. So I don't understand how that can be one reason not to let this go through, at least for a trial period, because Door County is about people coming up here, and people, so, you know, the reason we're surviving is probably we're farming or we're into, we have our shops and tourism, so this all benefits everybody. So it's just the usual, every meeting I go to, it's always about scared of change. And that's what I keep hearing, so I think we should, I'm here because I would love to promote it through Egg Harbor also. That's why I came, and just, that's why I'm here, so.
Okay.
I'm for it.
Yes.
I agree with him. As Mark said about a trial basis, what about a conditional use permit? You know, I don't know what everybody's afraid of. If anybody's aware of the fact that to legally operate an ATV or UTV, anybody born after 1988 has to have a safety course to do it. I have been doing ATV safety courses since 2000, so we're not looking at a bunch of hot rod kids. I mean, when we were here at the last meeting, one of the girls said, wait till they show up with a trailer with 6 ATVs and a hot rod. It's not kids, it's, I mean, the average buyer of a UTV, I believe, is like 53 to 63 years old. I mean, we're all adults. You're not gonna get this thing that we're all afraid of, but what about a conditional use permit? Would that be even in the cards?
Well, we already discussed that. I frankly do not want to go there. I mean, the people on the board have gotten feedback from the townspeople. They have their concerns that they have expressed. I don't think that they're going to change their mind. We just do not feel it's the appropriate thing to do for the town. You can go to the bars. You can take a car, a bicycle, a walk. You don't have to take a UTV or an ATV. You can't drive them legally at night. There will be areas where people will take them. There will be limited, maybe that's good news for you. There'll be limited enforcement, but there will be some enforcement. But I don't plan, and I don't think any of the other supervisors want to be the traffic cop on those people that violate and create issues, and it will happen. I'm not saying that it's going to happen with this group in this room, but it happens in other places. I had other town chairmen tell me, you know, they had people drive an ATV down 57, drive across the street and go here. They had a golf carts coming over here. They have areas where they try and control and seasonal access. It's not a good fit given the fact that we have a high tourist area. We have a lot of tourists come into the community. We have roads that are used by bicyclists, by bikes, motorcycles. We have enough traffic the way it is without increasing the amount of traffic. I don't think we're going to get an influx of visitors with ATVs. We don't have that draw. I mean, I understand why that happens in Nassauwappee. Conceivably, you could have a small influx of people to George Pinney Park for ice fishing purposes. But other than that, it's not going to create a whole new avenue for tourist dollars. We don't have enough places anyhow to keep them anymore. So the board has spoken. They do not feel that it's appropriate for the town at this time, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
The group did,
So-
they weren't promoting tourism. That wasn't, they wanted to have locals be able to travel roads
Right.
back and forth. So I think that's a misconception. They weren't looking for adding tourism to our town.
Okay.
Dan, could I just ask one thing? Did you talk to anybody in the town of Village Harbor?
Talk to Don City.
And did he say anything about their roads being open to
Yes.
UTV?
I talked to him,
Okay,
so.
because I think they're a little bit
I
more.
talked to Union, I
high
talked to
traffic.
Gardner, I talked to Nassauwappee, I talked to Bailey's Harbor.
Okay.
I did not talk to Dan Seelar and Sturgeon Bay, and I missed somebody else.
Brussels.
Russell. So,
Okay, thank you.
all right, no problem. We're gonna move on to our agenda. Okay. TV, clerk treasurer contract renewal. Oh, everything is identical to last year's, except for,
She's a year older.
Thanks.
except for your, if you have a flat tire when you leave, Mark, it's self-induced.
It's not from the ATV, UTV people.
At any rate, you've all had a chance to read it. It's nothing different than in the past. Motion to approve would be in order.
I'll move to approve the clerk treasurer contract, I guess, conditions for employment, conditions
Employment
for
contract.
employment for the year 2022 as presented.
All right, motion by Linda, second by
I'll second that.
Jeannie. All right. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You're going to be with us another year, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
That was the 10 minutes.
All right.
Voice this guy.
All right, election officials. This is the list of, provided by the Republicans. and for election purposes, and also for the Democrats.
We don't have a, do we have a Democrat?
No, I'm
we
thinking
don't.
here we don't.
No,
This is-
unaffiliated, unaffiliated.
Unaffiliated, sorry, I was just gonna say, I don't see that. There it is, okay. So we need to approve those. Do we know who these Nellis people are?
I haven't met him yet.
They're usually back row guests, I guess.
Oh, okay, I got it, all right.
All right, I'll move to approve the election official lists as presented by our clerk for the 2022-2023
Yes.
cycle.
2022-23. Okay, motion by Linda,
Second.
second by Mark. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, okay. Hartwig property update. Good night, Santa.
Have a Merry Christmas, Jim.
Hey,
Last day of fall.
hang on a second, Dan.
Ah.
And there's kids out.
All right, Hardwood property update. You know as much about this as I do. Basically, the most recent action that has taken place since our conversation going back a few months about dedicating the funds that we had recovered from the Muscat property towards removal of other derelict or dilapidated would be the better word, thank you, dilapidated properties. And the Hartwig trailer property is the next one on the list. We asked the building inspector to go out and examine the property, which he has done, and he has put together an inspection report, which we have had reviewed by our attorney as well, and essentially has led us full circle back to a resolution to raise the property, on which we would inform the owner that they would have 30 days to remove the property, and if not, the town will step in, raise the property, much identical situation to the Muscat property, and end up being a special charge on the tax rolls. So, any questions with respect to the recap? Otherwise, the next piece of business would be to act on the resolution.
I'm just putting that out for bids, like we did everything, same
Yeah,
protocol.
basically, correct.
Did we have our attorney do a title search? Are there any other liens on this property? I don't think so, but,
That I cannot answer.
okay.
I mean, we can certainly have her check. Amy, you want to make note of that, and we'll just have her do that before?
Sure.
Okay. So, with that, the resolution, which we would need to approve under roll call, is resolution number 07-2021, raise order for Hartwick property. Which this resolution adopted by a majority of the board on a roll call vote with a quorum present and voting, and proper notice had been given, resolves and orders that the following, and I will just summarize this by saying the old, dilapidated, out of repair, dangerous, unsafe, unsanitary, and otherwise unfit for human habitation of this building be removed within a 30-day time frame. If not, the town will step up, have the property removed, and the charges will be on the owner's tax bill. So, any questions with respect to this?
Can we do this resolution now without, before we do the, if there's any liens? Or
We
can
can,
just
we'll
get
just,
the ball rolling with the resolution?
we will simply do this. If there's an issue, we'll bring it back, but I don't
Okay.
think that there is any out there. We have been in contact with her, so I mean, this is not a surprise
Yeah.
on multiple occasions.
For years.
So, okay.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion by Mark to approve resolution 07-2021, second by,
I'll second.
second by Derek. Any further discussion? If not, we'll take a roll call on that. Amy?
Supervisor Danielle?
Aye.
Supervisor Vogel? Vogel?
She's excused.
Oh. Supervisor Hayne?
Aye.
Chairman Wolfle?
Here, aye. Here, aye. Here, and aye.
Supervisor Waite?
Aye.
Aye and here. Motion carries. All right, we will verify that there's no other issue, as Linda had indicated, and if not, we will send this document out to the owners. All right. Trying to get back to my agenda. Boy, oh boy. Sorry. Lost my page. There we go. All right. Resolutions, treasurer's report. So we have the financial reports in your packet. You know, the budget versus actual, transactions, and count balances. January through November of 2021. And Amy, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
In the room tax category, we are above the projected budgeted amount by $41,000 as of November 30th. And I just received another check today, I want to say for roughly $16,000. The 2021 tax bills were sent out early last week, so residents should have received them or will receive them soon. And we've already received some payments on those bills.
Oh, great. $41,000 ahead, that's amazing for recovery from one year to the next. Okay, we would need a motion to approve the financial reports for November.
Linda has a question.
Sure, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So Amy, as far as our designated funds, everything that we budgeted to move into designated,
Is there.
capital, reval, all that has all been moved over there. So
Absolutely.
that these are final numbers then.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I also asked her to establish a separate account to track the ARPA funds.
Oh, good.
So we'll have some idea, because we've used
Oh,
some
I
of
see
that
that. Mhm.
for election, salary, and a few other things. So that she'll keep track of that item as well, so.
Okay, well then I will make a motion to accept and place on file the treasurer's report for November of 2021.
A motion by Linda, second by?
Second.
Second by Mark, to approve the financial reports. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Approval of vouchers, bills, and claims. I think everyone has signed those? Okay, we need a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims from November 30th, 2021 through December 20th, 2021.
Motion by Mark, second by?
Second.
Second by Derek. You guys holding together. Thank you. Motion by Mark and Derek to approve vouchers, claims, and bills. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Taken care of. Committee minutes and oral commission reports. So in your packet, you have the Park and Rec meeting minutes from November 16th. Motion to approve and put those on file.
So move to accept those minutes and place on file.
All right, Linda, motion, second by?
I'll second.
Second by Mark. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, take care of that. And I think Linda wanted to make some comment.
Yes.
We'll gladly give you the floor.
All right, so we have had, between Destination Sturgeon Bay, Destination Door County, and the Door County Tourism Zone Commission, we have had numerous meetings in the last couple months, especially at the executive level of the Tourism Zone Commission. So I might kind of ramble back and forth among those three different entities, but I'll try to be brief. So as you all know, Pam Seiler, our director for Destination Sturgeon Bay, has officially retired after, I think it was 7 or 8 years. So we thank her and welcome Cameron Koturski-Ehlers a Door County native that has returned to Door County. The Destination Sturgeon Bay 2022 budget, they're expecting revenues of $605,000, expenses of $515,000, so retaining approximately $90,000 for their budget. And included in that budget would be about, I believe it's $71,000 that would be coming from the Town of Sevastopol's Community Marketing Fund through
Do we go up
Destination.
to 70,000?
71,000. The city would be at about 111,000, and then the Town of Sturgeon Bay, I think it was nominal, like maybe 5,000 or 6,000. So substantial increases there. And like I said, I'm going to kind of ramble back and forth between them. To the Tourism Zone Commission, so we have a part-time assistant starting as of January 10th. I just talked to Juliana this afternoon for a meeting. So she will have an assistant in the office. She is overwhelmed because we now have 1,324 permitted properties, of which 996 are listed with Airbnb, VRBO, et cetera.
Short-term rentals.
That is 166 permits over the previous year. And what might come into play is that Wisconsin legislature, excuse me, the marketplace providers such as Airbnb, Bookings.com, VRBO, et cetera, will now only have to report on a quarterly basis. So instead of filing and remitting monthly, they're going to be remitting quarterly. So what is that going to do, as far as municipalities getting their checks and Destination Door County getting their checks? So there's going to be some downtime there. So we'll see how that goes. This year will be kind of a learning curve for everyone. We've got the new 8% increase from 5.5. We have where municipalities have to pay the operating expenses of the tourism zone. So it'll be kind of a learning year for everyone. The average night stays for last month were 3.6 nights. So that's almost 4 nights out of the week was the average stay. And if you look at Sevastopol, we did really, really well. This is only through September and October. But there were only 3 municipalities ahead of us that had a higher occupancy rate. So we were looking like at 82% in August. I mean, that's really, really high. We haven't seen those numbers before. Over 70% for September, and almost 80% for October. I mean, compared with 50% the year before. So
And that
numbers
was
are
up.
definitely up.
Right, that was up, last year was up.
And, right,
As well.
and that's, right, our COVID thing. So that's not even looking at 2019. So, like I said, I'm gonna kind of go back and forth here. So the operating budget for the zone, I did a quick calculation, and if I can find my numbers, they're operating, the part that the municipalities would be responsible for, I don't know where my notes went, but I believe it was like 310,000 or whatever. Total. The operating expense.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, their room tax, 30% comes to us, 70% to Destination Door County, and then municipalities now are gonna be picking up the operating expense of the zone. So legal fees, accounting fees, insurance, the office, full-time staff, part-time staff, so, but that budget is pretty flat from the previous year, so not a whole lot of change there. I think that's really about it. My highlights. Oh, the Destination Door County. So we're trying to get some more transparency between the zone and what Destination Door County is doing. And you know, we had John here for one of our meetings, more, so that we're more connected, you know, and knowing what Destination Door County is doing with their $8+ million that they project for next year. So,
Probably has an ATV route.
so the zone and Destination Door County, we've been meeting with some of their staff and board members as well, with the executive committee, trying to hammer out an entity agreement, because obviously the zone will be designating Destination Door County as our tourism entity. And like I said, just more transparency there, more of a connection, more, you know, regular reports back to the municipalities and back to the zone as to, okay, what marketing strategies are working, what are not working. But I think we can expect another banner year.
So I have a few questions, but maybe Derek or Mark have any? If not. When we did the community fund, the community marketing fund, I don't have the right name, but you know what I mean. That sum of money was around the mid-20s, 25 to 28, I think was the amount of money that we gave back to the Sturgeon Bay Visitors Bureau. Does that ring a bell?
Wasn't it a
No.
percent? It was a percent.
It's a percent, but, well, if it's,
No, it's what we,
it's what we're gonna pay to the zone.
no. The community marketing
Right.
fund, when this came about, how many years ago, Chuck, I think, at the time, looked at trying to get a business community interested in taking that.
Right.
And then when they had no interest,
Right.
we passed that money back to City of Sturgeon Bay's Destination Visitors Bureau, right?
Right, we designated
Them as our,
Destination Sturgeon Bay or Sturgeon Bay Visitor Bureau as our community marketing program.
and that amount of money was in the 20s, if I remember correctly. 20,
Maybe years ago, but like I said,
Yeah, I
for
thought it
this
was a
next year, it's
percentage.
gonna be like 71,000.
no, I know what it's now, but I'm wondering is what it was. I thought it was in the 20s, like under 30,000.
Was it actually a number, like how much? we're gonna
No,
do
let me
this,
just
but
say,
was
the percent that they got
Gave was,
came out.
gotcha.
It would be easy, I can certainly find it for you.
Well, the thought here is simply this, I mean, I haven't kept track of that number, and that number may have grown substantially over the years. But with 28, when we started it 10, you know, how many years ago, with under $30,000, we didn't have any interest from the business community. At $71,000, I'm wondering if there might not be some interest from the business community to recapture those funds in a future year and start our own marketing. That was my only comment.
Well, I think I was clerk at the time,
Yeah,
and we sent a letter, we formatted a
Right.
letter to send out to all the businesses, and we received but a handful of responses.
Right.
And nobody really wanted to take the initiative to do it.
yeah, I recall that. I was just thinking how much of that was driven by how little the funding was. That was just my thought. I mean, I don't care. If they ever come forward and want to do something, we'd have the capability of potentially doing that, just like other communities. Do you have any flavor for what some of the other communities have for a marketing fund? What they're getting? Just out
I
of
do not,
curiosity.
I do not.
Okay, no big deal. I
But-
just was thinking.
yeah.
Also, I've asked John now twice on the opportunity to recapture those monies. I've heard
Oh,
nothing
right.
back. So I don't know, I just sent him a reminder again last week. And this is the topic where we discussed about going out and, remember, we have to pay our percent?
Yep.
So it'd be where we would go out and borrow the money and pay it back with the money that we would get back from them. I haven't had an answer with him on that yet. He did delay it originally because they hadn't appointed somebody in the new position. So it's still out there, still trying to get an answer, so, okay. Thank you, Linda.
I have a question related to that, if I
Yeah?
can. So with the increased revenue with the temporary housing, Will that ever decrease the amount of taxes that the local people have to pay? You know, property taxes and whatnot, will that ever, as it grows, and it sounds like it is going to continue to grow, will that ever have an effect on the property taxes of the local?
Probably not. I mean, realistically, you just got your tax bill?
Oh, we were just saying we didn't get ours yet, but.
Oh, okay, well, I got mine, and I think I mentioned it at last month's meeting. I think my tax bill went up $3 or $2.
Okay.
Our tax bills have pretty much either literally taken a little dip or, you know, they've gone up by pennies or not. When we got the tax money, we dedicated it to paying for this building. And since we finally paid for the building, we put it towards other projects like road construction and things.
Okay.
So it becomes a surplus in a way, but in a way that we use it for other community things. So the object is to not raise your taxes. I don't know if we'll ever get it much lower. So, okay.
My tax bill went up higher than that.
Well, you live in one of those really upper, high-scale kind of places.
So Dan, I'd like just to say, are you done, Linda, with your
Oh,
reports?
I did find
Sorry.
my numbers for the zone, the 291,000. I'm sorry, 291,000 is what they were figuring for operating, so, sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. You had a comment on the...
I was just gonna say about, we had a Park and Recs Committee meeting on Wednesday the 15th, and we decided to, on the third base dugout in the baseball field, we decided to tear it down because we've been having issues with the foundation, or the walls cracking and yada, yada, yada. So we decided to get rid of it and get some bids and build new. Well, Mother Nature decided that we're not gonna tear it down, that she tore it down for us in the windstorm.
Really?
So maybe, just maybe,
They got knocked over.
you taxpayers will be happy because maybe our insurance will cover for the rebuilding of the said dugout. So if you drive by the park and look out there in third base of the baseball field, you'll see a mess. We can't touch it, we're waiting for insurance to give us a yes or no on what we're gonna do, so. It's just kinda interesting that literally.
The sad news is it
three
didn't...
to 6 hours earlier, we decided to do something different and then got taken care of.
Sad news is the pavilion still stands.
Yeah, and I looked very hard to see if there's any ripples in the pavilion, and that sucker is
Still standing. Okay.
Yeah, Linda?
Did you say the dugout on the softball field
No,
here?
no, on the baseball
On
field,
the
the third
baseball
base
field.
side, yep, the Cubbies.
Really?
case that they're
I
down,
thought it
yeah.
was cement.
Yeah, I took that
It's,
too.
it's that's the problem, is it's cement, so we have a cement floor and then block on top. So it's just a floating slab, so through the years, just, you know, ice and everything
Took
else.
the block
And it
and
just took
everything.
the block?
Oh, everything.
Everything's
I
gone.
think I can show you a picture.
We have plenty of pictures if you wanna
Some
see, but
pictures.
Oh,
just so people know, I've got some emails and texts and calls letting me know, we know. So we're just waiting for the insurance.
Okay, good enough. All right, license and permits, you have a copy of Door County Inspections Report for the month. And probably the slimmest correspondence in the history of the town, which is one page. And it's a check from the Nature Conservancy who donated $100 towards their taxes that they don't pay but help for fire protection. So we appreciate that. And that is everything that was in correspondence. Next meeting will be January 17th at 7 PM. That's on Monday as usual. And anybody has an agenda item prior to that, give me a holler, or if there's anything that's on your mind now.
one thing.
Yeah.
I see you purchased the gravelly, the new mower.
Yes.
whatever. So is that delivered already, or do you wait until?
No, it could have been delivered, then we got the cold and all the snow. So her like, we talked with them and they put it back in their warehouse. They have a storage and it's there, it's ours. Did we get the letter?
Yes.
So we got a letter from them saying that, yes, it's ours and it's sitting in their storage. So we are gonna possibly be selling if that deal went through, selling our old one, to make room for the new one. So once that gets done, we'll bring it in.
Are you gonna advertise for
We
the old
actually have
one?
an
Well,
offer.
We had an offer without having to really go
Oh,
too
because I
far.
can think of another entity that might be interested.
If he's willing to go over $3,000, we're interested.
Okay. Well, unless it's a done deal.
Well, we're waiting to hear.
Yeah.
I think it is, but we don't know for
If it's
positive.
not,
We don't have
I
the
mean-
money in hand yet, but we hope to, so. Okay. I have nothing else on this agenda, other than the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Derek, it's shocking, and a second by Mark to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.